can you lose someone else's memories? By JumpityDude. Let's begin. A bolt from the dark blue. Right. Prism Bolt is the son of Rainbow Dash, and it shows. Boom. He has her confidence and flying skill, though he was afraid of heights, ironically, when he was younger. These days, he spends most of his time in the sky, doing things like playing with storm clouds, like he was when it happened. He kept tapping the cloud. Prism, is that you? Oh, hey Annie. On the ground below him was Anthena, a blind unicorn that he had sworn off of pranking. Not just because of her being blind, not because she's Fluttershy's adoptive daughter, not a lull because she's fragile, as far as he's concerned, mostly because of her protective colt/Drake friend, Turquoise Blitz, whose size was close to Big Mac's. What are you doing? He tore off part of the cloud and shook it. Just playing around. Sounds a bit like a storm. I'm playing around with a storm cloud. Isn't that a bit... Prism kicked the cloud. Boom! Kaya! His face turned to panic. Annie! He flew down and landed beside her. She was still standing, but seemed to have a stunned look on her face. I'm so sorry. He started checking her body, as much as a daredevil like him could, as she watched. I didn't mean to hit you. He moved his face an inch from hers. Please don't hate me. What? He hid behind his hooves. Please don't tell T. T? He slightly lowered his hooves, worried. Your cult friend? They stayed like that for a moment. Then she said one thing, and he knew his life was over. Who are you? He felt his heart sink. You have amnesia. Who's that? Oh, no. This is not happening. No way this is happening. He grabbed his head and bit his lip, hoping against all hope to avoid whatever pain awaited if T found out, or Celestia forbid, if she found out. What's wrong? Annie asked, showing more confusion than concern. We have to keep this a secret. I need you to... Keep what secret? Things got worse as he realized that Cotton Candy, the eldest daughter of Pinkie Pie, was only a few feet away, with a very innocent smile on her face. See, what are you doing here? Annie cocked her head. Who's that? I was going to find you to ask if you wanted to join us for lunch. Whose lunch? He shot Annie a worried glance. You as in... Annie looked at her stomach. I'm hungry. Star, Del, T, Claire, and of course Annie. Hey, where are you going? Prism turned back to Annie, who, sure enough, was walking away. Hey, wait! He bit her tail, causing her to yelp. Where are you going? I'm hungry. I wanted to get something to eat. She tried to pull away, but Prism held tight. No, we can't let anyone know. You have to stay away from G. She tried again, yanking at his teeth. Why? 'Cause I don't want anyone to know you have amnesia. Candy can keep a secret, but... Candy interjected. Prism, you might want to turn around. He pulled Anne back and looked behind him. Things got worse, because right there was Starburst, Twilight Sparkle's daughter, and Golden Delicious, Applejack's son. Del moved towards Annie, while Star glared at Prism. What happened? Prism cringed and stepped away from Annie. Star was the one pony that truly terrified him. At least, pure pony. He was more terrified of half-dragons, half-bats, and half-demons. I don't know you at all. Oh, and the indication that he ruined his friend's life forever? I was messing around with that storm cloud. He pointed at the cloud he was playing with earlier, his hoof shaking a lot, and I accidentally hit Anne with a lightning bolt. You what? Star's wings spread to their full length, and if that happens, you can't fight back. When she spreads her wings, something happens to anyone watching that makes them lock up. She emits an aura of pure terror, unless you're a certain unicorn. Star, or if your back was turned, which Dell's was, it can't be that bad. Your mother probably has a spell to fix this. Star folded her wings. Of course. Besides, I can't find any burn marks. From what? Things got worse. Annie's lover had just arrived. Turquoise Blitz, the child of Rarity and Spike, and he was angry. Hi, do I know you? Anthena, getting the first word in after his arrival, didn't help his mood at all. Nor did Prism's very, very wise way of breaking it to him. I accidentally hit Anne with a lightning bolt and gave her amnesia. You what? He's dead. Just behind T was her, the devil, the last being he wanted to see at that moment. Crystal clarity, T's older and 1,000 times more dangerous sister. In a moment, she had him by his throat. You really messed up this time, Prism. I'm sorry. Sorry? Sorry isn't enough for this, Prism. I'll make you... What do you remember? They both got distracted by Dell suddenly speaking up. Anthena, who had a blank expression the whole time, suddenly got a wide smile. I'm a magical princess from another dimension! From another dimension! Everyone was confused as to why Annie and Candy started laughing. When they hoof bumped, it finally clicked. That was all a prank! I was right here the whole time. The bolt missed her by a mile. I screamed because it was loud. You just sunk your teeth right into me being hit before I tried to sell it. They kept laughing, and soon after, everyone else was as well. Oh man, that was good. She even got the rest of us with that. T hugged Annie, who promptly nuzzled him. I'm just happy that you're alright. I was ready to kill you, Prism. If you didn't, I would have. They were still giggling from how silly it all turned out to be, and Prism was thankful there wasn't any actual damage. Wait. Suddenly, Athena seemed panicked. What was that? Silence. Ow. They looked at the bush that the voice came from. Dell approached and pulled some leaves back. Pixel? He lifted the small unicorn and turned towards his friends. Her horn! Sure enough, there was burn marks on the little unicorn's horn. Ning, Pixel Bit opened her eyes and looked at them like they were aliens. How do you feel? Who are you? Everyone glared at Prism, who smiled very sheepishly. In the end, it turned out that Pixel was pulling the same stunt Annie did, but she kept it up the whole day as opposed to Annie dropping the act after a few minutes. She didn't even drop it when Prism got charred. And it was ultimately her father who tricked her into revealing the act. Sure, she was hurt, but who says you can't have fun when harmed? Speaking of having fun, Prism learned his lesson about playing with thunderclouds. He still does, but he does when he's above other clouds, to avoid hitting anyone by accident again. And he hasn't slowed down on his regular pranks on ponies. Then again, maybe this all wouldn't have happened if he would just stop discriminating against me. Oops. Author's note. Apparently stories can fail moderation for having too much colored text. The second thing I failed moderation for that wasn't made clear at any point, but makes sense, which is going to be a problem for a big project I have planned. One of my weaknesses when writing is that without the script format, I tend to not make it clear who specifically is talking. I thought the color-coded lines would work around it, but I apparently can't use that now. and just saying character says all the time feels dull and repetitive to me. Whatever, I'll find a way. As for the story, the challenge was to make a story based on one of Killian's fun facts, so I choose this one under Athena's. One time, Prism was messing around with a thundercloud and hit it too hard, causing lightning to come out as Athena passed by. She let out a little scream because of the sudden, loud noise invading her sensitive ears. Prism thought she screamed because he struck her with lightning. She took the opportunity to mess with him and pretend to have lost her memory from the shock. Prism freaked out a lot. Of course, I wouldn't reveal this before the story. That would give away the ending. And that last line is based on another fact under Prism's facts. Prism and Candy made a promise that they would never ever prank Annie. Annie claims that it's discrimination. Just wanted to be silly. That was Can You Lose Someone Else's Memories by JumpityDude. I would recommend, rather than color-coding your lines or just putting them in without any sort of marker, I would recommend doing some character names said, asked, inquired. There's many different things for said. You can, if you're doing multiple lines from the same character, do he, she, etc. You can also do the line in association with an action, in which you say a particular character did an action, and in the same line say something that they're saying at the same time as the action. They have a guide on this, by the way, on FimFiction. But yeah, there's some suggested alternatives. Also, I would recommend not introducing characters so fast, which I kind of do get because you're working on, like, I guess, another person's works. But, with introducing so many new characters at once, makes the pacing odd. Anyways, that was Can You Lose Someone Else's Memories by JumpityDude. Until next time, see ya.